Hey there, we're basically swimming in an ocean of information every single day. So how in the world do we find that one specific thing we're actually looking for? Well, it's not magic, it's code. And today we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how it works. Okay, let's dive in. Okay, so picture this. You've got this massive, endless list of people, and you need to find just one person. I mean, where would you even begin? This is a problem that programmers have to solve all the time, and the solution is actually really, really clever. So this right here, this is going to be our sea of data for this explainer. It's a simple list. You can think of it like a digital spreadsheet that we're calling people. And our very first entry is for someone named Melissa. As you can see, she's got a specific date and time attached to her name. We'll be using her as our example as we go along. Right, so a programmer isn't going to sit there and scroll through thousands of names by hand. No way. Instead, they build a toolkit, a collection of what we call functions. These are just small, reusable pieces of code that are built to ask very specific questions and get you answers fast. So let's open up that toolkit and see what's inside. And you know what? The logic behind every single one of these tools is basically the same. It's a super simple three-step recipe. First, you start with the whole shebang, the full list. Then you apply a very specific rule, like, hey, find everyone with this name. And finally, you get back a brand new, much smaller list that has only the things that matched your rule. It's that straightforward, but it's incredibly powerful. All right, let's start with the most basic tool in our kit. The first one you'd probably reach for. Let's say we need to find someone, and the only thing we know about them is their name. How would we build a tool for that? And here it is. It's called Filter by Name. The name pretty much gives the game away, right? It tells you exactly what it does. It just needs two little pieces of information to work: which list you want to search through and the exact name you're looking for. Okay, let's put it to the test. We hand our function the people list, and we tell it, go find Melissa. The function runs, does its thing, and boom, just like that, it gives us back a new list with only her in it. Our first tool works perfectly. Okay, awesome, that works. But what if you don't actually know a name? What if the only clue you have is when something happened? Well, for that, we're going to need some more advanced tools, ones that can understand dates and times. Let's level up. So up next in our toolkit is Filter by Year. And just like before, the name tells you everything you need to know. You give it a list and a specific year, and it'll go through and find every single entry from that year. This is a way more powerful way to search than just using a name. Let's try it out. We ask our Filter by Year tool to find everything from 1980. And success! It finds Melissa. But here's the really cool part. What happens when we ask for a year that isn't in our data, like 1990? The tool doesn't break or get confused. It just hands us back an empty list. And that's a really important concept. It always gives you a valid answer, even if that answer is simply, sorry, I found nothing. And this is where you can see how these tools start to work in pairs. Say you want to find everything that happened after last Tuesday. You use Filter After Date. Everything that happened before the year 2000, you'd use Filter Before Date. See? They're like two sides of the same coin, and together they give you this incredible control to search through time. Okay, let's get even more specific. What if you want to find everybody from March, but you don't care what year it was? For that, we need a really specialized tool, Filter by Month. But, this kind of brings up a really interesting question. How does a computer, which just sees a bunch of numbers and letters, even know what a month is? And here it is, a little peek under the hood. This is some of the actual code that makes the tool work. Now, don't worry about reading every single line. All it's really doing is taking that date text, using a built-in helper to understand that it's a date, and then it just plucks out the number for the month, in this case 3 for March. Then it just checks if that number matches the month we were looking for. That's it. That's the secret sauce that makes the whole thing work. And believe me, the toolkit doesn't stop there. It just keeps getting bigger. Once you teach a computer to understand dates, you can build all sorts of amazing, specific tools. For instance, with Filter by Month Day, you could find anything that happens on the 15th of any month. For pretty much any question you can think of about time, you can bet there's a tool for it. So we've seen a bunch of these individual tools, but the real magic, the real genius here, isn't in any single one of them. It's how they're designed to snap together, kind of like Lego blocks. So here's the big takeaway, the stuff you really need to remember. First, these tools are totally reusable. That filter by year tool can work on our list of people, sure, but it could also work on a list of your online shopping orders or even a list of your vacation photos. Second, they're combinable. You can find everyone from 1980, and then on that smaller list, run another filter to find everyone from March. This is how you build incredibly powerful complex searches from really simple, easy-to-understand parts. And I know this might seem like some abstract coding thing, but I promise you, you use this every single day. When you go to a shopping site and you filter for black shoes, size 10, under $50, what you're really doing is chaining together a bunch of simple filters, just like these. When you search your phone for photos from last summer in California, you're combining a date filter and a location filter. It is the exact same idea at work.
So now that you've got the idea, now that you see how this whole modular toolkit thing works, what's missing? If you were the one in charge of building this system, what other kinds of filters would you create to help you make sense of all that data?